Today marks a milestone for me. The day that I will be taking my final pill in cancer treatment after 7 years. It all started in 2018 with more incursive treatment for breast cancer, which included 1 infusion of chemotherapy, enough to lose my hair, and also 16 visits of radiation. David and I were very fortunate to be able to walk to and from our home to Cancer Care over those 3 weeks of receiving radiation. It was a lovely walk every morning, which was a release and a real delight. So today, we are going to be retracing that route that we took and recounting our story. Early on in this video, David will be reading his thoughts from 2018, something he published in his book called Navigating Hope. This is a picture book, a photographic book that he prepared of our walks at that time, and it's part of his series of small books on meaningful walks. Now, I'll be reading my own thoughts from 2018, also published in this book, from my perspective of what I was feeling at the time.
It's May 24th, 2018. Gail and I step off our front porch. We wait for our dog child Sticks to appear in the front window, as he always will. We wave goodbye, as we always do, and we make our way across busy Portage Avenue. We stroll down the quiet residential streets of Winnipeg's West End, beneath canopies of just emerging leaves. Winter is behind us. In its place, a fresh explosion of heat and green. This is a time of renewal. Lawnmowers hum with the season's first cut. Above us, an arborist chainsaw chatters loudly, and there's the high-pitched chorus of children playing at recess. We are on our way to Cancer Care Manitoba. This is not the walk we had planned to take back in January and February. By rights, we would be well into our planning and preparations for a long walk later this spring. The Via Francigena was in our sights, a long pilgrimage from Canterbury to Rome, crossing Britain, France, Switzerland, and Italy. But a small lump altered our direction. It would take us on a very different path. The news came softly, disturbingly, on the last day of January. Gail had breast cancer. He was handed the first of several pathology reports, couched in a new coded language. Then came the lumpectomy and the lymph node biopsy, and another pathology report. Then an additional operation around the margins of the lumpectomy, and a third report. And then, in early May, Gail and I met with her medical and radiation oncologist. 12 weeks of chemotherapy, 4 weeks of recovery, 3 weeks of radiation, and future hormone treatment. As cancers go, Gail looks to be one of the lucky ones. Hers is not the most benign, but it is close. Even the need for chemotherapy is near borderline, more of an insurance policy than an absolute necessity. We know of people with much more serious cancer, life-limiting and life-ending cancer. Gail is fortunate in many respects. But it is what it is. Life will continue to be measured in percentages. This percentage of women with her cancer will survive for that many years. This treatment will increase her chance of survival by that percentage. Life since January has been directionless, trapped as we have been between what we know and what we don't know. And while we know much more today, tomorrow remains vague. On this May 24th morning, we are making our way to Gail's first chemotherapy session. No grand pilgrimage across Europe, just a simple walk from home to hospital. It is our form of therapy, walk therapy. Walking is our coping mechanism, our way of reclaiming life and hope. It is our space to breathe outside of the world of cancer, away from treatment and hospitals. This is where we take care of ourselves. It is where we set our own direction, our own path. It is where we make the most of the day, this day, and the next day. It is the place where walking the dog, going out for ice cream, embracing a raining day, is as important as a walk to the hospital. It's May 24th, 2018. Our pilgrimage starts now.
For 10 weeks now, David has been marking in pictures our way through active treatment for my breast cancer. There has been a seemingly endless parade of appointments and procedures during what we have come to term, borrowing from Fidel Castro, the special period. We are fortunate. Throughout treatment, we have been able to walk between our home and Cancer Care Manitoba 50 minutes each way along the leafy residential streets of central Winnipeg. Active treatment ended last week with my ringing a bell. There's a tradition among cancer radiation treatment facilities, including Cancer Care Manitoba. Immediately after the last radiation session, the patient is invited to ring a bell symbolizing the conclusion of that particular treatment and resumption of life anew. For me, it was a unique opportunity to happily and humbly honor the occasion and the dedicated men and women who have provided me with care in a free and universal healthcare system. At some centers, for example, Leicester, England, it's called the end of treatment bell. The term is tricky because treatment can typically continue with years-long medication. Or there can be radiation that is sometimes a prior step to other current treatments, such as surgery. And the disease can possibly recur, necessitating still further treatment. In other centers, in Buffalo and Las Vegas, for instance, it's called the victory bell. This isn't wholly satisfactory either. It borrows from the commonly used vocabulary of battle, like Nixon's war on cancer, and a world where, together, we will beat cancer, but haven't yet, where even the feistiest and most courageous individuals can lose their gallant fight. Appropriating the words of Pete Seeger, mine is the bell of freedom. Since receiving my diagnosis of breast cancer on January 30th, 2018, David and I have been hostage to appointments and procedures made necessary by the disease. A lumpectomy, a second surgery to ensure clear margins, an infusion of chemotherapy, and 3 weeks of daily radiation therapy. 3 more chemotherapy infusions, another 2 months of treatment, were canceled based on the groundbreaking results of the Phase 3 Taylor-X clinical trial released June 3rd, 2018. The study identified a subgroup of breast cancer patients who could be spared chemotherapy, 330,000 yearly in Canada and the US alone. At our first visit to Cancer Care, we met another patient who asked, "With whom do you walk?" With David, of course. The answer she sought was breast cancer. I guess her terminology related to the cancer journey, another metaphor too that I'm not fond of. Every life is a journey, cancer or not, asked Tom Cochrane. I find cancer is more a shadow. It's part of me, so we can't do battle, and it will now follow me. But it need not necessarily take form. Active treatment has mutated to simply the daily navigation of a chronic disease. We walk on. Well, 7 years ago, David and I would have been entering those doors. But instead, today, it's here outside the building where we end our walk. And, you know, just like 7 years ago, the walk today was one of calming and peace, inspirational and hopeful. The colors of the flowers, the activities, the care people take of their homes, a gorgeous walk through inner city Winnipeg, and it just reminds you just how beautiful things can be.